So, the ancestral womb work ritual is 7 nights of womb healing connected to ancestral trauma. And basically, this ritual is for anyone who's been working on their own womb healing, whether it's endometriosis, infertility, irregular cycles, just feeling a general disconnection to the womb. This is for helping you to understand where those issues could be connected to an ancestral trauma or some kind of ancestral pain. And in the ritual, we connect with an elder ancestral guide who is very well in spirit, who can help with healing that ancestral lineage or that lineage that's connected to the pain or womb or menstrual imbalances that you're experiencing now. This is not something that will solve all of your problems as associated with your menstrual health and your womb health, but this is something that helps to get to the core of where those things could be springing from spiritually or emotionally. And when we address those core issues, it's much easier for us to see transformations in all the other work that we're doing to heal our bodies. So over the course of this ritual, we'll meet 3 times virtually to discuss what is coming up for us. We'll do an opening ceremony where you will have the opportunity to ask questions about performing the ritual. We'll set up an altar space, and we'll kind of go through all the steps of the ritual, and you'll have a chance to ask questions on anything that is confusing to you. So the second virtual meeting will be right in the middle of the ritual. So right in the middle, we'll have a chance to chat and see about what's coming up for you. If you're having trouble with any aspect of the ritual, that's a really great time to ask those questions. And then our closing ceremony will be one of discussing any major issues that have come up and looking at ways to integrate the experience and the lessons that you've learned from the ritual into your actual daily life so you can make changes and see progress in your healing. So this ritual is so powerful, and this is not for the faint of heart. This is not, whenever you're going into ritual, at least for me personally, I notice that, I go into it with this energy of, yes, I'm really excited and happy to do this. It's going to feel so great. I can't wait to do it. And then halfway through the ritual, I'm like, damn, this shit is fucking hard. Excuse my language, but this is hard. And as it should be, because anytime you're working on pulling out these thorns out of these deep wounds, it hurts. It's not an easy thing. I mean, there are things that can come up that just, it feels draining. And there's times when you cry, and there are times when you just don't want to be around anyone, and that's totally fine. And that's what these group sessions are for, so that we can connect with each other and have a chance to help each other through the tougher aspects of the ritual. Now, coming out of the ritual and being able to see where those pains are coming from, having the vision of what could have happened to this ancestor, and working with an ancestor who can help with healing the ancestor that is not well in spirit and the ancestor whose pain is still showing up in your lineage. That's where we get into some really deep work. And we can also make changes in our own behaviors. And for me, this has showed up with how I interact with men when I feel threatened in any way, when a man comes into my space, or when a man approaches me in a way that I don't feel comfortable with, how I will completely shut down. And it stems from this pain, this trauma that my ancestor experienced. And being able to see that has helped me to shift the way I interact with people, how I interact with men, and how I'm able to speak up for myself now when my ancestor couldn't speak up for herself when she was experiencing being raped by someone. So it's powerful stuff. This is, like I said, not for the faint of heart, but it's a very supportive group. We'll have a very safe container for this work. And that's why I'm offering this as a group ritual. That's why you have the access to the Facebook group where you can speak with other people who are doing this ritual and learn about their healing process and the things that they are learning about for healing themselves. So that's pretty much the gist of it, of what I wanted to share with you about this ritual. It is like I said, a 7-night ritual that is focused on dream work, where you'll be doing a pelvic steam, you'll be doing 2 spiritual baths, an opening and a closing spiritual bath, that will help to prepare you for this ritual space, and then close out that energy so you can have a clear ending to that. Because you want to be able to move on and just, integrate those lessons and make changes and see progress in your healing. So one of the other things I wanted to mention is that sometimes your cycle can get a little bit worse as you're pulling out these pains and thorns, because when these things are moving through your body, emotional and spiritual pain is moving out of your body. It can trigger some of those reactions that you used to have. And so that's just something to keep in mind. I just want to be honest with you about this process, and there are things that when they're leaving your body, it may hurt. It may bring up some of that pain that you felt before in the past with your womb or with your menstrual cycle. But then afterwards, things do feel better, and everyone's experience is different. I can't speak for everyone, but one of the biggest things about healing for me in my practice is healing is very much spiritual. There are emotional and spiritual things that are deeply ingrained in us that are expressed through the physical body. So when we are only focusing on herbs, or we're only focusing on say exercise or meditation, all of those things are great, but when we're looking at addressing ancestral trauma and pains that our ancestors experienced that are showing up in our physical body, we also have to go back and help to heal those things through working with helpful ancestral guides that have the power to heal ancestral trauma, heal the unwell ancestors in your lineage.